now is another video.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Star Trek Fleet Command. My name is Pegasus and today we are going over the event store. What is good in it, what I think is good, and what I also think is a complete and utter waste of time. So we've got the event store already up. It's in the events tab. Just click on event store and you are immediately greeted with this: the officers in this arc's event store. Now we get one of these at the end of every arc on the final part. It's for the 3 weeks that we run the arc, where we get a number of officers, we get ship blueprints, we get materials, we get resources, we get avatars, we get frames, and we get other little bits and bobs as well. So I'm just going to go through briefly my personal view on what I think is actually good in here and what is not. So first of all, we're going to start with what is actually up on your screen right now. It is the officers. These are the officers that were released during Duality Arc. Now there are 3 more officers which are currently in this fourth and final part, but they are not in the event store because they are whatever officers usually come in the final part of the arc and never placed in the event store. So we've got Honor Guard Wharf. He was in part 1. He was our very first officer, very good PvP officer. I just look, if I actually just show you him. And there he is. There's Honor Guard Wharf, and we'll just quickly show you. It increases armor piercing by 30% of the crew's attack whenever it scores a critical hit. And the bonus for him is he has a chance to score a crit as a plain simple officer. He scores critical hits on a 45% chance, and that lasts for 8 rounds of combat, the first 8 rounds of combat. So basically you've almost got a 1 in 2 chance of hitting that critical hit, which will last 8 rounds of the fight. Obviously the armor piercing is his captain's ability when you actually put him in the captain's spot. In part 2 we received Sealer and Tomlock. They came along and were a completely different set, and they were more aimed at another feature that another mechanic that came in the game, which was ship cloaking. We'll touch briefly on cloaking later because there are also some cloaking shards available in this month's event store. So as you can see, Sealer's captain's ability was cloaked. She increases the chance of critical hits. And then as a standard officer, when fighting players, she has a chance to reduce critical hits by 2% when you score a hit. Now that's a bonus because there is an officer who also starts off with a 2% chance of creating critical hits when when you score a hit against players, and he's also one of the best base crackers in the game when you put him as captain, and that is Khan, who you'll remember from the second of J.J. Abrams' films, not Beyond, I'm thinking Beyond, but it's not Beyond, it's Into Darkness. Also the Khan in the movies was a completely different shade away from the Khan in the original series back in the 60s. So Sealer came along, and she also brought with her another TNG famous Romulan, and that was Commander Tomarlock. In this, though, he's actually a senator. As you can see, his captain's ability is when cloaked, he increases shield piercing, penetration, armor piercing, shield penetration, and accuracy by 100%. And then as an officer, against Klingon targets, he increases damage by 25% to attack of the crew. Now this maxes out when he reaches tier 5 at a whopping 500%, and that is massive, absolutely massive, because that can really swing all the PvP battles against particular types of ships. So like you've got your Klingon Bortus, your Burrell, your Corinar, your Hectare, your D4, D3, he will increase damage against them just out of the packet at 25%. It's a small percentage to begin with, but when that reaches tier 5 and gets to 500%, that is massive. So we're concentrating too much on the officers here in this so far. And then in part 3 we received Martok and Galron, two other officers known, Galron from both TNG and Deep Space Nine, and Martok, who was primarily from Deep Space Nine, who first came into it in Way of the Warrior. Then we've also got a couple of Borg officers who appeared in the Duality arc. These are our 3 top miners. 4 of 10 is Ston, 11 of 11 is Barot, and 3 of 11 is T'Pring. But these officers start off at the top level of their non-Borg counterparts. Now, I'm actually chasing 3 of 11 because she's the only one of the 3 I was not able to obtain. But I don't think I'm going to get her, because while it's a good card and starting off with her officer's ability of a 300% increase to protected cargo, that is brilliant. And obviously a gas mining coupled with synergy for the other 2 officers, she will mine gas faster than a non-Borg counterpart. Then obviously we've got some TNG officers. Now I don't think this is a particularly good value because you're limited to 2. It's 30,000 of our tokens to begin with just for 1 pack, so 60,000 for the 2, and I'm only gaining 10 shards. And if you look at Picard, he needs 180 just to unlock him. That's quite high. And Picard is another good officer when paired crewed correctly with the correct crew for hostile grinding or those red dots. And then obviously you've got some more. Then you've got Officer Jailer, who's for swarms, and I will touch on her in a minute because I don't think, in my personal opinion, she's a very good officer. To me, she's a one-trick pony. So as we come into now, as you see, we've got the Cloaking Refits. I think the bro just tried to cloak on screen there, but just come back. And as you can see, the limits on them is actually how many shards they actually require. Now, what I did is I went for this one, the Augur, because I already had 100 shards ready, so I just buyed an extra 20, and that meant my G3 epic ship now has a cloaking device and will help it in battle. It doesn't tell you what its percentages, but there is an attack bonus and a chance to remain anonymous when in the battle logs. So, and then as you can see, the Enterprise has got a cloaking refit. Why the Enterprise got a cloaking refit, I don't know, because there was only 2 instances where the Enterprise actually cloaked. One was in the original series, in the Enterprise incidents in season 3, I think it was, where Kirk stole the Romulan cloaking device and then got it back to the Enterprise, and they cloaked to get out of Romulan territory. The next one was in season 7, the episode The Pegasus, when the Enterprise, under the command of Picard, went looking for the Alberta class starship USS Pegasus that was lost 12 years earlier due to quote unquote a warp explosion in space. It later was found out to be a test phase for a Federation interphase cloaking device, which was against a treaty the Federation signed with the Romulans in good faith. So obviously you got some of these Tetrions, which is for your cloaking, and then we're moving on to the ship refits. Ship blueprints. So as you can see, we have a large number of miners and warships and things like that. Now, we've also been included into this the Meridian refit shards. Now, this is not a bad little trick, because this also gives us a bonus to the refinery if we'll just quickly go to it. And if we'll just call that up, and if we go into, Okay, it's not working fast enough. Nope. Territory refinery, and we go to the end here, and this one here at the very end, this is where we can refine what we get to get us some extra particles towards doing our research and everything, and also iso resin, which is a new form of the emulsion to do specific PvP related and cargo protection related research in the territory research tree. The Meridian refit shards, when you actually unlock the refit, you don't need to apply it to a mine or anything. You just need to unlock it and activate it, and you get a +1 to this. I think it's just an extra chest you get. So there's that. So if we go straight back to the event store, so that's the shards, and then there is the Meridian itself. Now I already have one of these, and I was actually going to buy, so use the, as they're called, the oh look, let me get the word, Talon Darcix, that's the one. I was actually going to use these to buy the Meridian, but as you can see, one chest is only 1500, so for 100 of them I'm going to need 150,000, and as you can see, I've only got 106,000 at the minute, so unfortunately I won't be able to buy one on this video, which is a bit of a shame, but hey ho. So to me, the Meridian refit shards and the Meridian set is a reasonable thing to go after. So is the cloaking and or the ship blueprints. They're a reasonable option to go after if you need them. But as some of the content creators may actually tell you, and I know one's already said this, if you can actively grind them out in the game, for instance the Vidar, as you can see on screen, every Saturday during the arc we get a cosmic cleanup, and as you can see there, you have a chance to grind for the Vidar, rate of 10 pulls, limit 10, so you get 10 shards. So after 10 weeks of that, you can end up with the Vidar. Obviously if you wanted to speed that up, then just go through the event store and get it this way. The Devore again is not one I would recommend going for, because you can actually get that in your monthly loyalty chest at a rate of 10 shards per month, so it'll only take you 12 months just to actually save up for it, and you only get half a Devore, whereas here you will get half of a Vidar. It's only 5 shards this time round, but you're limited to 10 pulls, which will give you 50 shards, so it's half of Vidar, so that could cut down the amount of time it takes you to get a Vidar. Again, if you wanted the Devore quickly, or you wanted more Devores, you can go through this way to end up getting the blueprints a bit faster. Again, Discovery is another one that's also in Cosmic Cleanup. It's only just been added, and again you'll get half that, and then you get your Botany Bay blueprints. Why I ideally want a second, I don't know, because it mines data pretty fast. I've got one mining out right now and it's doing pretty good, and then you've got all these, and this is a little bit where I'm going to touch on, because I think this is very bad, because during this final part, and as I've recently found out, during the final part of the arcs, they take the materials out and replace them with the event currency, which in this case is the Talon Darcix this time round, and so you're not getting your uncommons, your rares, or other types of materials. You've got to rely on your other daily events, which don't pay out anywhere near. So for the last 3 months we've been getting used to the payouts of something like about 100 of each per day, uncommon, and then suddenly we've had it ripped away from us for these Talon Darcix, which we're getting at a reasonably good rate this time. But the problem is, looking at the price, as you can see, it's linear. 1900 for 5 pieces of uncommon gas, 10 shards, that's 50. Yes, so now you build it up, you can end up getting a fair whack. But the problem is the conversion for it is not good enough. When I was looking in the last 3 arcs, 1,000 uncommon per arc. It's per part of the arc, so per month, 1,000 a month. This won't even come anywhere near by the time I'm finished. Especially if I want to buy other stuff. And then obviously you've got some resources as well, which are, well, yeah, the payouts are nah. Again, to be honest, to me it's a waste of time. And then a bit further on, oh yeah, you've got these Franklin. If you want to build a second Franklin, fine, go after them. If not, then you've got your avatars and your frames. To me, these are all meh. Why do you really want them? The only thing you want up this end, if you can get to, if you want it, is the Syndicate XP, because it will, if you really want it, it will increase you and help you move along pretty fast. The only other thing that you really want out the store, if you've got some spending left to do, if after you've got what you want and you still got some of, is these two active nanoprobes, because these are what you are going to need to upgrade your Borg officers. And you see, that's not, to me, that's rather expensive, 75,000 for just 12,500, considering with how much you actually need. But it's scopely. I don't know, they're in business to make money, I know that much. And then you've got your Cultivated Mycelium. This is your go-go juice for your discovery, which will help you jump around. There you've got, I've got approximately 80 jumps for 30,000. So I could with what I've got at the minute, I can get around about, is it 160, 240,000. So 240 jumps and summonings around the galaxy, which is pretty good, but I'm currently doing it the hard way, which is going out mining just enough to do a double pull every day and do it that way, because I'm limiting the amount of jumps. I don't need to jump that many times a day at the minute. I don't do a lot of base raiding, but when I do get around to the base raiding again, when I eventually get the brand new ship that came in this arc, which is the Amalgamon, and then yeah, I'll look at base raiding again. So as you can see, this is my botany bay, and I just call it up. I mean, my botany bay is fully maxed, level 45 tier 9, and it's mining this at a rate of 192,975 bits of data per hour. Now I'm not quite at protected cargo level yet, so, and I'm just going to show you a little trick. If you if we call it back up, if we press this little 3 cube stack, it'll bring up my cargo, and that's how much there is. At the bottom, it will tell you what my protected cargo is. So, according to that, I'm actually at protected level already. But yet, the little thing says I've still got some space in there. So, let's have a look at that, shall we? Just how we're on screen. And I know we're going a little bit over. So, scroll right down there. Oh yeah, that's saying I'm 201,000. So there is actually a contradiction there, which I think I better put a ticket in Scopely about that, because yeah, there should be a scope. I mean, as you can see, I've got 3 protected officers, and I'm actually going to quickly swing on this as well. It's because I see this quite a lot of people using this officer when they want protected cargo, but they're putting him as another bridge officer on either side of the captains, so which means he's actually no use, no ornament on that ship, because his captain's ability is actually cargo protection. If I'll show you its main stats, is this firewall protection. This is his captain's ability, so where he increases protected cargo by 50%, but yet I see him elsewhere, whereas like I've got to bring here on the left, she increases protected cargo by 300%. She is a maxed officer, so she's already at tier 5, and she's already given me that ability. And then I've got DuPont on the other side, who gives me another extra 50%. So they're officer abilities which are due on the side. But when you look at the officer ability for Jocuum, his increasing mining rate of data So why would you want that on a minor if you're looking at protection? I don't know what players are thinking, but hey ho, that's them. So now another ship that was in the event store was the Stella, and I'll quickly bring them up because I've deployed them to a system, and let's bring them together, shall we? So the red Stella that you see is my big Stella. She's the one that I'm currently leveling up. She's level 41 at the minute. She's still got 4 levels to go to be maxed. And then little baby Junior here, she's the brand new one, and I've worked on 2 event stores to get her. She's 100 blueprints. So I got 50 what is it, 4 months ago now, and then I've got 50 this month, and I got her, and I have a video where I am actually launching her. I will do a video on the Stella at some point soon to explain why I've got 2 Stellas. The quickest and simplest answer for this, because we are running rather long here at the minute, is 1 for grinding and 1 for armadas. Oh, that's the event store. I'm Pegasus, and we'll catch you in episode 4. Stay safe.